With just 14 days remaining before the 2024 election between Kamala Harris, the Democratic candidate, and Donald Trump, the Republican contender, the political landscape is charged with tension. Both sides are fervently rallying behind their candidates, leaving many Americans feeling overwhelmed by the intensity of the political discourse. In recent weeks, mental health visits have surged as people seek help for symptoms of what's being increasingly referred to as election stress disorder. While this is not an official diagnosis, election stress disorder refers to the anxiety, distress, and emotional strain many experience as political events become more heated. Regardless of political affiliation, the perceived stakes of the election can feel immense, leading to increased feelings of uncertainty, fear, and anger. The polarization of the current political climate, amplified by 24/7 media coverage and social media debates, only intensifies this stress. For those struggling with the anxiety and mental strain caused by the election, it's important to understand the nature of election stress disorder and explore healthy ways to manage it. Understanding election stress disorder. Political events can evoke strong emotions, from fear of losing rights or social progress to concerns about national unity and security. Some people may feel as if their very identity or future depends on the outcome, leading to a pervasive sense of dread. Others might be experiencing exhaustion from being bombarded with heated debates, negative ads, and constant updates about polling numbers. The American Psychological Association, or APA, has noted that political stress can exacerbate symptoms of anxiety and depression, especially when one feels helpless about influencing the outcome. This helplessness, paired with the high stakes associated with this election, leads to a heightened fight-or-flight response in many individuals, causing increased mental health visits. Some common symptoms of election stress disorder include increased irritability or anger, difficulty sleeping, fatigue or low energy, feeling overwhelmed or hopeless, constantly checking news or social media for updates, trouble concentrating or completing tasks, and physical symptoms such as headaches, muscle tension, or digestive issues. Managing election anxiety strategies from psychotherapy. While election stress disorder can feel overwhelming, there are several effective strategies for managing it, drawn from cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, mindfulness practices, and other psychotherapy approaches. Limit news and social media consumption. Many therapy books, such as the Anxiety and Phobia Workbook by Edmund Bourne, recommend reducing exposure to anxiety-inducing stimuli. The 24-hour news cycle and the constant flow of political content on social media can fuel feelings of stress. Limit your consumption to specific times of day and avoid doom scrolling before bed. Consider taking breaks from platforms where political arguments are common, and seek out sources of information that prioritize facts over sensationalism. Focus on what you can control. One of the key principles in cognitive behavioral therapy, as highlighted in Aaron Beck's Cognitive Therapy of Anxiety Disorders, is to challenge catastrophic thinking and focus on what's within your control. While you can't change the election's outcome single-handedly, you can vote, engage in civil discourse, or volunteer for causes you care about. Redirect your focus toward actions you can take rather than ruminating on worst-case scenarios. Practice mindfulness and grounding techniques. Books like Jon Kabat-Zinn's Full Catastrophe. Living emphasize mindfulness as an effective way to manage stress and anxiety. Mindfulness practices encourage you to stay present rather than spiraling into thoughts about the future. Deep breathing exercises, body scans, and grounding techniques can help you reconnect with the present moment and reduce anxious thoughts about the election. Try a simple grounding technique when you feel overwhelmed. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and focus on what you can feel, hear, see, and smell at that moment. Remind yourself that while the future may be uncertain, you can handle whatever comes your way. Talk to a therapist. For those who find that election stress is interfering with their ability to function, speaking to a therapist can be an important step. Therapy approaches like acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT, encourage individuals to acknowledge their emotions without judgment and to act according to their values. Seeking professional help can provide guidance and tools tailored to your unique situation. In The Happiness Trap by Russ Harris, ACT encourages people to accept difficult emotions like election anxiety instead of trying to avoid or suppress them. By accepting these emotions, individuals can still commit to taking meaningful action and living according to their values, even when things feel chaotic. Engage in self-care. It's easy to get caught up in the election frenzy and neglect your own well-being. Take time to care for your physical and emotional health. Exercise, healthy eating, and adequate sleep are foundational for managing stress. Additionally, spending time on hobbies, connecting with loved ones, and engaging in activities that bring joy can provide relief from the relentless political chatter. Avoid all-or-nothing thinking. One of the common cognitive distortions identified in David Byrne's Feeling Good, the new mood therapy is all-or-nothing thinking, where you view situations as black and white. This thinking can intensify election anxiety, making it seem like the future depends entirely on one outcome. Remind yourself that while the election is important, life will continue, and it's not the end of the world if things don't go the way you hope. Staying connected and informed without burnout. While managing stress, it's also important to stay engaged as an informed citizen. But there's a difference between being informed and being consumed by election coverage. Set boundaries around political discussions, especially with people who may exacerbate your stress. Respectful dialogue is important, but it's okay to disengage from conversations that turn toxic. As Election Day approaches, remember that it's normal to feel anxious in such a high-stakes political environment. However, with the right tools and coping strategies, you can protect your mental health, contribute meaningfully to the process, and navigate these turbulent times with greater resilience. Election stress disorder is a real and widespread phenomenon in 2024, fueled by the political polarization, media saturation, and high stakes of the Harris-Trump race. By setting boundaries on political consumption, practicing mindfulness, and seeking professional support when needed, you can reduce the emotional toll of the election season. Remember, the election may be an important moment in history, but your mental health matters too. As we await the results, focus on self-care and constructive actions. The resilience you build now will help you face the future, no matter the outcome. Incorporating insights from psychotherapy can empower individuals to better handle the anxiety brought on by election seasons. By managing our minds effectively, we can better manage the stress and uncertainty of the world around us. Excerpt from Full Catastrophe Living by Jon Kabat-Zinn. To let go does not mean to get rid of. To let go means to let be. When we let be with compassion, things come and go on their own. In the context of election stress, this concept of letting be is particularly powerful. While you may not be able to control the outcome of the election or the political climate, you can allow your anxiety to exist without judgment, acknowledging that it's part of the human experience. By practicing mindfulness and allowing these feelings to flow through you, you can reduce their grip on your well-being and make space for clarity and calm.